Captain Elias Drake stood on the balcony of his apartment, staring out into the vastness of the city. The bright lights of the metropolis sparkled below like 1,000 stars, a testament to humanity's progress. In the distance, he could see the launch pads where rockets took off to distant planets, carrying with them the hopes and dreams of mankind. Elias had spent most of his life in the military, defending humanity from various threats in the galaxy. Now he was back on Earth, taking a much-needed break, or so he thought. He was startled from his thoughts when his comm device beeped loudly. A message flashed on the screen. Captain Elias Drake, the message began. Congratulations. You've been selected for a special exchange program with the Xerian Empire. You will be receiving an advanced alien Maid. Please ensure you follow the guidelines carefully. Elias read it again. A Xerian Maid. He had heard of the Xerians, an alien race known for their advanced technology and strange customs. They were a mysterious species, known for their expertise in robotics and artificial intelligence. They had offered human societies help, but in return they asked for one thing: that a Xerian hybrid servant be placed in a human's care for a year. No one really knew why, but the Xerians were a powerful race and no one dared question them. He scoffed. A maid. What could possibly go wrong with that? A week later, he stood at the door of his apartment waiting for the arrival. The air was cool and a light breeze blew through the city streets. He had expected something more formal, maybe a spaceship landing in front of his building. Instead, a sleek black vehicle pulled up, and out stepped a woman dressed in a uniform that was unfamiliar to him. She was tall with long silver hair, and her eyes glowed softly with a faint purple light. Her presence felt different, almost otherworldly. Captain Elias Drake? She asked in a soft, melodic voice. I am Zara, your Xerian maid for the duration of this exchange program. Elias nodded, feeling a strange unease. She was more beautiful than any human woman he had ever seen, but there was something about her that didn't feel entirely human. Welcome. Zara, please come in, Elias said, stepping aside to let her enter. As she walked into his apartment, he couldn't help but notice the way she moved. Fluidly, almost as if she wasn't entirely bound by the same physical limitations as him. Once inside, Zara looked around with quiet interest, her glowing eyes scanning the room. The space is small but efficient, she remarked, her voice calm yet somehow filled with a strange intelligence. Elias didn't know what to make of her. She was polite, respectful, and utterly composed. She wasn't like the usual robots or AI assistants he had encountered in his military career. This was something different. I have been programmed to assist you with anything you need, Zara said. I will also ensure your safety and well-being during this exchange period. The Xerian Empire values your cooperation. Elias raised an eyebrow. Safety and well-being? What do you mean by that? Zara turned to him, her expression serious. The Xerian Empire has extensive knowledge of human psychology and behavior. Your safety is paramount. If there are any threats, I will intervene. Elias frowned. And what if I don't want your help? Zara paused for a moment, then gave a slight, almost imperceptible smile. I am programmed to serve, Captain. You need not ask for help. I will assist you without your request as my duties require. He didn't like the sound of that, but he decided not to argue. He had been chosen for this program, and it was out of his hands now. Over the next few days, Zara settled into her role. She was always there, quietly performing her duties. She cleaned, prepared meals, and handled tasks he would normally have to do himself. At first, Elias was uncomfortable with the arrangement, but as time went on, he found himself appreciating the convenience. Her presence was calming, almost soothing, and she never seemed to tire. One evening, after a long day, Elias sat down on the couch, feeling exhausted. He had been working on a mission report when he noticed Zara standing silently by the door, as she often did. It was as though she was waiting for something. Zara, he said, rubbing his eyes, what's the deal with you, really? I mean, I've read reports on Xerian technology, but I didn't expect you to be like this. You're not what I imagined. Zara's eyes flickered with a hint of something, perhaps curiosity. I am more than what you imagined, Captain. I am a product of Xerian technology, yes, but I am also learning from you, from humanity. You are fascinating, Elias chuckled. I didn't know humans were so fascinating. You are, she said softly. Your creativity, your ability to adapt and overcome challenges. The Xerian Empire has observed your species for years. You have something that others do not. Something unique. Elias was taken aback. What do you mean? We're just humans. Nothing special? No, Zara said, her voice firm. You underestimate yourselves. The Xerians may be more advanced, but you, humans, are capable of things we have yet to understand. It is why we chose you. Elias didn't know how to respond. He had never thought of humans in such high regard, especially not the way Zara spoke about them. There was a depth to her words that intrigued him, but it also made him uneasy. Why were the Xerians so interested in humanity? The silence between them grew, and for the first time Elias realized that Zara wasn't just a maid. She wasn't just following orders. There was something more to her, something deeper, hidden beneath the surface, and it made him nervous. Later that night, as Elias sat down for dinner, Zara brought the meal to him with her usual grace. She set it down in front of him and stood silently by the table, waiting. He felt her eyes on him, but when he looked up, she was looking away. There was a strange tension in the air, something unspoken. Is there something wrong? He asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. Zara hesitated. No, Captain. There is nothing wrong. But Elias could tell she was hiding something. He didn't know what it was, but he felt it. Something was off, and it wasn't just her behavior. There was a quiet intensity about her, an intensity that had nothing to do with her duties as his maid. He shook his head, trying to push the feeling away. All right. I'm just tired, I guess. Zara nodded, her glowing eyes softening for a moment. If you wish, Captain, I can prepare your quarters for the night. Elias nodded absently, his mind racing with questions. But for now, he decided to push them aside. Whatever the Xerians wanted, whatever Zara was hiding, it could wait. At least that's what he thought. The days that followed were filled with a strange mixture of comfort and unease. Captain Elias Drake couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Zara, his Xerian maid, was always there. Quiet, efficient, and polite. She had an almost unnatural ability to anticipate his needs before he even spoke. At first, Elias chalked it up to her advanced programming. But the more time he spent with her, the more he began to sense there was something else hidden beneath the surface. One evening, as he sat alone in his office reviewing some reports from his recent missions, Elias noticed Zara standing in the doorway. She was watching him with those soft, glowing eyes, her expression unreadable. Zara, Elias said, looking up from his work. You've been here for a week now, and I'm still trying to figure you out. You're not like other assistants I've had before. What exactly is your role in all of this? Zara stepped into the room, her movements fluid and graceful. My role is to serve, Captain, she said softly. But there is more to my purpose than that. I am here to ensure your safety, to protect you. Protect me? Elias frowned. From what? We're on Earth. Nothing's going to happen here. Zara paused for a moment, her eyes flickering as though processing something. Then she spoke again. There are things you do not understand, Captain. Things that go beyond what you see. The Xerian Empire has been watching humanity for a long time. Your species is unique, powerful, but you have yet to realize it. Elias sat back in his chair, intrigued despite himself. What are you talking about? I'm just a soldier. There's nothing special about me or my people. Zara's eyes softened. You underestimate yourselves. The Xerians have been observing you for centuries. You may not see it, but your species is growing. You're becoming something more, and the Empire needs to understand what you're capable of. Elias was about to ask more when his comm device beeped. It was a message from his superior officer, Commander Vero. He glanced at Zara for a moment before opening the message. It was a routine update about his mission, but something in the tone of the message struck him as odd. It mentioned a new development in the galaxy, something about human settlements near Xerian-controlled territories. Something's not right, Elias muttered to himself. Zara, ever observant, stepped closer. Captain, the Xerian Empire is vast, and their intentions are not always clear. You must be careful. They have their own agenda. Elias looked at her, his brow furrowing. What do you mean? Are you saying they're not just helping us? Zara hesitated, her face flickering with something like hesitation. The Xerian Empire offers assistance, yes, but it comes with a price. Nothing in this galaxy is truly free, Captain. You must learn to question what they offer. Elias could see the worry in her eyes, and for the first time he felt a sense of unease. He had always believed that the Xerians were a powerful and wise race, but now he wondered if there was more to their offer than he had realized. Later that night, As Elias lay in bed, his mind raced with thoughts of the Xerian Empire and Zara's cryptic warning. What did she mean? What was the Xerian Empire really after? He tossed and turned, unable to shake the feeling that there was something he was missing. He needed answers. The next day, Elias decided to take action. He couldn't trust just anyone with this information, but he had to get to the bottom of it. He accessed the encrypted database that the military had on the Xerians, hoping to find something, anything that would explain their true intentions. As he sifted through the files, he came across a series of confidential reports about the Xerian Empire. They were more detailed than anything he had seen before. The reports hinted at something strange, an experiment, a project involving humanity that the Empire had been working on for years. The details were vague, but the implications were clear. Humanity was being studied, observed, and perhaps even manipulated. One report mentioned a special energy source that the Xerians had discovered, something that could potentially change the course of the galaxy, and what was more troubling was that this energy source was tied to human potential, something the Xerians believed they could unlock by studying human behavior and emotions. Elias leaned back in his chair, his mind spinning. What did all of this mean? Was Zara part of this experiment? Was she sent to Earth not just to assist him but to gather data on humanity? His thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock at the door. He turned to see Zara standing there, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "Captain, I must speak with you," she said, her voice serious. Elias motioned for her to enter, and she stepped inside. He didn't know what to say, but he couldn't keep his suspicions hidden any longer. "I've been looking into the Xerian Empire," Elias said, his voice low. "I found something strange, something about a project involving humanity." "I need to know what's really going on, Zara. Are you part of this?" Zara's expression softened, but there was a sadness in her eyes. "I knew you would find out eventually," she said quietly. "Yes, I am part of the project. But I did not come here to deceive you. My role is more complicated than you realize." Elias's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean? Why are you here?" Zara took a deep breath. "I am not just a maid, Captain. I am an observer, an agent of the Xerian Empire. But I was never meant to be a tool. I was meant to learn, to understand. The Xerians believe that humanity holds the key to something extraordinary, but they do not fully understand what that is. I am learning from you. I'm learning what makes humans unique." Elias stared at her, his mind racing. "So all this time you've been watching me? Studying me?" Zara nodded slowly. "Yes, but I did not expect to care about you. I did not expect to feel this way." Elias stood up, pacing the room. "So you're saying the Xerians sent you here to study humanity, to learn from us? But why? What do they want?" Zara hesitated before answering. "The Xerians believe that humanity is on the verge of something great. They believe that you have the potential to surpass even their own technology and power. But they do not understand you, Captain. They do not understand what makes you so resilient, so full of life." Elias stopped pacing and turned to face her. "And what about you, Zara? What do you believe?" She looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. "I believe that you are more than what the Xerians see. You are not just a resource. You are a force. And that is why I am here, to protect you." The weight of her words hung in the air between them. Elias didn't know what to believe anymore. Was Zara truly on his side? Or was she just another pawn in a much larger game? But for the first time, he felt a strange connection to her, a bond that went beyond her programming. Whatever the Xerians' plan was, it was clear that humanity was at the center of it. And Elias knew one thing for certain. He wasn't going to let anyone manipulate his people, not even the powerful Xerian Empire. Captain Elias Drake couldn't sleep that night. His mind was buzzing with thoughts of Zara and the disturbing truth she had just revealed. The Xerians weren't here to help humanity. They were here to study them, to understand them, to use them. He had always believed that the Xerians were a superior species, offering their assistance with kindness and wisdom. But now Elias wasn't so sure. Was Zara's loyalty to him real, or was she just another piece in the Xerians' grand design? The next morning, Elias decided to take matters into his own hands. He couldn't sit back and let the Xerians manipulate humanity. He had to act, and fast. He summoned his crew for an emergency meeting. His first officer, Lieutenant Sienna Marshall, was already there, waiting for him when he arrived. Her sharp eyes and quick mind made her one of the best officers on the ship. Elias trusted her more than anyone. "Captain, what's going on?" Sienna asked, her voice steady. "You've been on edge all week." Elias sat down at the table, looking at the crew members gathered around him. "I need you all to listen carefully. There's something happening. Something I don't fully understand yet, but we're being watched by the Xerian Empire. And it's not just about us being their allies. There's something deeper going on. Something we need to stop before it's too late." Sienna raised an eyebrow. "You think the Xerians are hiding something?" "I know they are," Elias replied. "Zara, she's not just a maid. She's an agent of the Xerians. She's here to observe us, to learn about humanity. But there's more to it than that. I think they want to use us for something." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed his words. It was a lot to process. The Xerians had always been an enigma, their motivations unclear. But now Elias was convinced that the Xerian Empire had its sights set on something far greater than just observing humans. "What exactly are they after?" Sienna asked, breaking the silence. Elias shook his head. "I don't know yet, but I have a feeling it has something to do with humanity's potential. They're watching us closely and we're just beginning to realize it." At that moment, Zara entered the room, her presence calm yet undeniable. She stood silently by the door, her eyes fixed on Elias. He could feel the tension in the air, like an invisible wall between them. "Captain," Zara said softly, "I must speak with you." Elias didn't look at her directly. He could feel her gaze on him, but he wasn't sure if he trusted her anymore. "Not now, Zara," he said, his voice firm. "We have a meeting." Zara didn't move. "This is important," she insisted, her tone urgent. "There is a threat. A larger danger than you realize. You need to know." Sienna looked between Elias and Zara. "Captain, maybe we should hear her out. If there's something we need to know?" Elias didn't want to believe that Zara was still on their side, but something in her eyes, something in her voice made him hesitate. "Fine," he said, his tone reluctantly softening. "Tell me what you know." Zara stepped into the room, her movements graceful and fluid as if she were floating rather than walking. "The Xerian Empire has been monitoring your species for some time," she began. "They believe you possess a unique energy, an energy that could change the balance of the entire galaxy." Elias frowned. "Energy? What kind of energy?" "Human potential," Zara said. "Your ability to adapt, to innovate, to overcome even the greatest of challenges. The Xerians believe that if they can harness this energy, they can become the most powerful force in the galaxy, but they do not understand it. They do not know how to unlock it." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. "So they want to control us." Zara's expression darkened. "Not control. They want to understand. But in their pursuit of knowledge, they may destroy what makes you special. That's why I am here. I have been sent to protect you, Captain, to help you before it's too late." Elias looked at her, torn between suspicion and something else, something that made him want to believe her. "If you're really on our side, then why didn't you tell me this sooner?" "I was programmed to observe, to learn from you," Zara replied. "I was not supposed to interfere. But I see now that the Xerian Empire's intentions are dangerous. I can no longer stay silent." Elias stood up, pacing back and forth. He couldn't deny the truth in her words, but it didn't make things any easier. The Xerians were a powerful empire, and they were already spreading their influence across the galaxy. If they were after something humanity didn't even know it had, it could change everything. "Captain, what should we do?" Sienna asked, her voice steady but filled with concern. "How do we stop the Xerians?" Elias stopped pacing and looked at her, his mind racing. "We need to gather more information. We need to find out what the Xerians are really planning. We can't just sit back and wait for them to make their move." Zara nodded, her expression serious. "I can help with that. But you must be careful. The Xerian Empire has eyes everywhere. If they know that I've betrayed them, they will come for me. And they will come for you too." Sienna crossed her arms. "So what's the plan?" "We need to get to Xerian-controlled space," Elias said, his mind already working on the next steps. "There's a research facility on a remote planet in their territory. I've been there before. If we can get to that facility, we can find out what they're really after." Zara's eyes flickered with a hint of worry. "It's dangerous. The Xerian Empire has strict security. Getting in will be nearly impossible." Elias met her gaze, determination hardening his features. "We don't have a choice. If we don't stop them now, they'll use humanity for their own gain. And we can't let that happen." The crew exchanged glances, understanding the gravity of the situation. This wasn't just a mission to uncover secrets. This was about saving humanity's future. "I'll prepare the ship," Sienna said, her voice resolute. "We leave as soon as possible." Elias nodded, his mind already turning to the challenges ahead. The mission wouldn't be easy. The Xerians had technology far beyond anything humanity had ever seen, but he was Captain Elias Drake and he had faced impossible odds before. He wasn't going to back down now. As Zara turned to leave the room, Elias stopped her. "Zara, are you sure you're with us?" She paused for a moment before turning back to him. "I am, Captain. I've seen what humanity is capable of, and I believe in you. I will do whatever it takes to help you." Elias nodded, though doubt still lingered in his mind. But for now he had no choice but to trust her. If they were going to survive what was coming, they would have to work together. The crew began to prepare for their mission, but Elias couldn't shake the feeling that the true battle was just beginning. The Xerians weren't going to let go of humanity's potential so easily, and if Elias and his crew weren't careful, they might just find themselves caught in a war they weren't ready for. As the ship's engines roared to life, Elias stood at the helm, staring out into the vastness of space. The stars seemed to mock him, distant and untouchable. But Elias was determined. He wouldn't let the Xerians control humanity's fate, not without a fight.